Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are actually going to be doing something a little bit different here. We're actually going to be starting something that I have personally been looking forward to doing for a very long time here on these videos. We are actually going to be trophy hunting the entire Kingdom Hearts series here on video. Now this will be a full gameplay commentary, so what you see here is exactly what we're doing, minus potentially editing out some level grinding or anything similar. We may end up speeding up Trinity mark hunting or things of that nature, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But without further ado, actually scratch that before I do say without further ado. I do actually want to make mention of a couple of things. First is that I will be doing my best to keep this spoiler free. I will be proceeding with this video series under the assumption that the viewers have as little to no exposure to Kingdom Hearts prior to tuning into this. That being said, because we are trophy hunting, we do need to plan ahead at the same time. And as such, because we're trophy hunting, and because I also want to give viewers something to play along to it alongside this, I'll actually be playing this as though we're following a guide. Now, because of that, just about all guides do recommend starting the series on beginner mode for each game, and there's actually a number of benefits to do it, and then later on playing on proud mode. So I do want to give a very brief rundown of what we can expect to that before we do begin the game. Firstly, because we're starting with the first Kingdom Hearts game, the primary benefits to starting on beginner mode is that we'll have additional stat boosts in our inventory, we'll have additional equipment to begin with, and there are a couple of trophies or achievements, depending on whether you're on PlayStation or Xbox or Epic Games, that are going to be an absolute pain in the rear to acquire on the higher difficulties, namely Unchanging Armor and Undefeated. Now, Unchanging Armor is to clear the game without messing with any equipment. You use what the game gives you, and that's it. You can still adjust items, you can still adjust abilities, but you cannot change your weapons or armor. Undefeated, rather self-explanatory. If you are defeated, and if you are taken to the game over screen, you do not hit continue. You instead will load your game from your last save. Now that is going to be the biggest reason as to why you want to trophy hunt on beginner first. There is another one as well that's referred to as Speedster, where you would clear the game in less than 15 hours, but there is actually a little bit of an exploit, and we'll get to that way later, and I do mean way later. Kind of sounds backwards, but it works, actually, surprisingly. But for now, let's begin. Oh, and yes, I am playing on the Epic Games Store on the PC version. And as such, I am also using the Xbox 360 controller, as that is what I have that plugs into my computer. But that said, any kind of gameplay controls or tutorials or the like that it gives, anytime controls are on the screen, I will translate it to using a PlayStation controller as well. So like we said, we're starting on beginner. I like to use manual controls, and I also like having the vibrations on. So with that, we'll proceed. Furthermore, before I forget, one other thing as well is that I will also, I am not a voice actor by any means, but I will be trying my best to provide some kind of acceptable or even excusable voice acting for the non-verbal scenes. So much to do, so little time. Take your time. Don't be afraid. The door is still shut. Now, step forward. Can you do it? Oh. Using the left thumbstick, or the WASD on the keyboard, I suppose, to move and run. Tilt to walk. Well, tilt lightly to walk, tilt all the way to run. Power sleeps within you. If you give it form, it will give you strength. Choose well. Now, choosing each weapon here, B to jump, circle if you're on the PlayStation. Whichever weapon you select here will dictate the order of the abilities that you learn by leveling up. And because of the way that it goes, the power of the Guardian, kindness to aid friends, a shield to repel all. Is this the power you seek? Yes, it is. Because of the ability you're about to set. Now, what will you give up in exchange? Because of the ability order involved, the shield is the massively recommended way to start it off. A lot of abilities that will be extremely vital to not dying, and all around just making it a lot less, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think outlandish is the right word, but it's the closest I can think of offhand, to pick the shield. Although if you're on the lower difficulties, that's not as that's not as necessary, but if you're on, like, say, proud mode, yeah, you should. Anyway, giving up a weapon in exchange will give a minor stat penalty. Giving up the sword will give you a small decrease in strength. Giving up the staff will actually give up a piece of, or a couple of points off of your ability points, your AP, so you won't be able to equip as many abilities. Personally, I prefer to sacrifice the sword here. The power of the warrior, invincible courage, a sword of terrible destruction. You give up this power? Yes, I will. You have chosen the power of the guardian. You've given up the power of the warrior. Is this the form you choose? Yes. So now the platforms vanish, as does the station platform. And now we have a new princess for our station. And I'm sure all of you will recognize the many cameos throughout. But for the moment, you've gained the power to fight. Press A, X if you're on PlayStation, to attack. Alright, you've got it. Use this power to protect yourself and others. The green gauge displays your hit points, HP, or health. If you run out of HP, you will be taken to the continue screen. And that's what we were mentioning. If we do run out of HP, and if we are taken to the continue screen, we do not want to hit continue. It'll give us the options of continue or load game. We want to load. The blue gauge shows your magic points, your MP. Magic is still a mystery to you. There will be times you have to fight. Keep your light burning strong. Now, because we're on beginner mode, these critters here are nothing. You gain experience, XP, by defeating enemies. With enough experience, you gain a level. Furthermore, defeated enemies sometimes leave items behind. You can take these items by walking up to them. Different items can do different things, like restore HP or MP. And I'll actually show you what I mean momentarily. Behind you. You'll automatically target the nearest enemy, but you can lock onto a specific target by pressing RB or R1. Lock on will appear in the upper left corner of the screen when you're locked onto a target. Locking onto a target limits the actions available to you, especially against other targets. Press RB, R1 again to release a target lock. So like if I get hit, I take a sliver of damage to these critters. Furthermore, because we're in the introductory section, whenever we do take them out, they only drop health orbs. So you would have to get hit a lot without being able to take out a single one of these things in order to run out of hit points here, which doable, but on beginner mode, not exactly common. Oh, and let this state for the record. This game in particular, the very first entry in the series, is probably my weakest in the entire series. So you're going to be seeing one of the, at least one of my bottom two in terms of my personal skill. So you're probably going to be seeing me getting lost or struggling quite a bit in this game, whereas in others, not so much. But we'll get to that later on. This is a field icon. It pops up whenever a special command is available. When Examine pops up, you can press Y or triangle to examine the object in front of you. I can't open it. The Y triangle in the command menu turns into various commands. So right now it's open. Tap, tap. You can push large crates simply by running into the side. You can also smash them. Thwack! Sometimes destroying objects yields items. You can take these items by walking up to them. Use them with the items command. You can lock onto objects as well as enemies. While locked on, press LT, L2, to switch your focus between available targets. Like so. Lift. Examine the door. And go into the blinding light. Hold on, the door won't open just yet. First, tell me more about yourself. And as such, we have our first cameos. Press back if you're on Xbox, select if you're on PS3, or the touchpad button if you're on PS4 for first-person view. You can use the left thumbstick to look around, press that button again to return to the standard view. However, because you're using the left thumbstick, you cannot move while you're in this first person. So, first we have our first set of cameos here, and these are not Disney related, these are actually Final Fantasy. Now, I'm very aware that a number of people these days are intimately familiar with the later entries in the Final Fantasy franchise, namely 14, 15, and the upcoming 16, but have much more limited knowledge about the characters and the well-going of the earlier entries. So I'll just go ahead and give an introduction. First we have Selfie Tilmet of Final Fantasy VIII. The talk command is available. Press Y triangle to talk to people nearby. What's the most important to you? Being number one, friendship, or my prized possessions? Now, because a part of the trophy hunting is to reach level 100, we actually want to answer these questions in a particular way. And the reason for that is that these answers will actually determine how quickly or slowly we level up throughout the game. Are possessions such a big deal? Up next, we have Tidus of Final Fantasy X. Oh, and as you may be able to guess, all of these cameos have been drastically aged down. I don't remember their exact ages, but they are at least late teens in their origin games. Most of them have been aged down. There have been a couple that are aged up, but we'll see them way later. What are you so afraid of? Getting old, being different, or being indecisive? Being indecisive? Is that really so scary? And then we have also from Final Fantasy X, Waka. What do you want out of life? To see rare sights? To broaden my horizons? Or to be strong? To be strong, huh? You like to collect neat things. You're afraid of being indecisive. You want to be strong. Your adventure begins in the dead of night. The road won't be easy, but a rising sun awaits your journey's end. Sounds good. And what that means is that your first 50 level ups will be a little bit slower than average, but your last 50 level ups from 51 to 100 will be faster than average. The day you will open the door is both far off and very near. And here we have a new platform. Good morning, Sleeping Beauty. Press whatever is your standard pause button, options, start, to open the menu. In the main menu, you can do things like view your inventory and status or configure your game settings. However, you can't open the menu during battle. And that's what happens when you try to do it in battle. It's just a generic pause. The only downside to using the shield is that here in this segment, well, we're using a shield for combat purposes, for offense, meaning we have very little reach. We have to be pretty much within kissing distance. And here we have... This is a save point. Touch save points to recover HP and MP. Press Y or triangle to open the save menu when save appears. Be sure to save your progress before quitting the game. It's a good idea to save often, especially since we're going for undefeated. If anything goes wrong, you can then load your save data and resume from there, instead of hitting continue and pick up where you left off. Just ignore that file that was there before. I tried to do this a little bit before already, and just under 40 minutes into it, I realized that there were a lot of things like audio and sound mixing that were messed up, so I had to completely do it over. But anyway, you may also recognize this platform here, as I struggle to actually keep the camera in a controlled spot, but whatever. Y'all know who it is. The closer you get to light, the greater your shadow becomes. But don't be afraid. Don't forget. Don't forget what game. But anyway, here we have Darkside, the tutorial boss for the game. He really only has two mechanics that will be cycling between until we defeat him. You can hit him in the head or the two hands only. Hit him anywhere else, it'll act like you missed. as you've noticed, every time you land a combo finish on his head, it will give you 2 tech points, which are basically just experience that you gain without having to defeat a foe. That first mechanic is where he just punches the ground and spawns more of those critters. And the second one is exactly this. Hit the beam to deflect it back for 1 tech point, and you'll gain 2 more when those beams make contact with his body. And I only hit 1. If I were using the sword or staff, I'd actually be able to reach him without too much of an issue. But, nonetheless. Wow. Okay. Oh. Wow. Alright. Oh my. Wow. That was quite the platforming struggle. As such, why I'm really bad at platformers. Don't ask me to play one of them, because you'll just be seeing a lot of that. Oh, he actually does have more mechanics, I suppose. Huh. Does he? Nope, okay, he just stood up. Ow. Oh, just more beams, cool. Okay, wow. There we go. That's much better. See what I mean? I'm terrible at this. And if I were on Proud Mode, I probably would have died there. Fortunately, you can lose that fight, and all you will miss out on is the XP. But don't be afraid. Sorry, if I had this thing hovering over me, about to collapse on me, I would be terrified. You hold the mightiest weapon of all. So don't forget. You are the one who will open the door. And enjoy the next scene. Now that the primary tutorial is finished, we are back in our home.
Whoa! Give me a break, Kyrie.
Sorry, you lazy bum. I knew that I'd find you snoozing down here.
No, this huge black thing swallowed me up. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't... Ow!
Are you still dreaming?
It wasn't a dream. Or was it? I don't know. What was that place? So bizarre.
Yeah, sure.
Say, Kyrie, what was your hometown like? You know, where you grew up?
I've told you before. I don't remember.
Nothing at all?
Nothing.
You ever want to go back?
Well, I'm happy here.
Really?
But you know, I wouldn't mind going to see it.
I'd like to see it too. Along with any other worlds out there. I want to see them all.
So what are we waiting for?
Hey! Aren't you guys forgetting about me? So, I guess I'm the only one working on the raft.
Ah.
And you're just as lazy as he is.
So you noticed. Okay, we'll finish it together. I'll race you.
Huh?
What? Are you kidding?
Man, he just did a lot of the work on that raft, apparently. And you're gonna play him like that? Anyway, before I forget, this series surprisingly touches up on a lot of darker themes. But a lot of them are more like subtle undertones, and they're handled in a very, for lack of a better term, Disney-ish way. So, it'll be more like underlying themes in their characters, or underlying themes in general in the way they interact, but there will be a lot of darker themes present. So you may want to be on the lookout. Anyway. So, can you gather the rest of the supplies? Sora, are you listening to me? Yeah, I heard you. Okay, here's what you need to find. 2 logs, 1 cloth, 1 rope. Bring everything back here. If you need help, just ask. I'm counting on you. And as such, here we are, Sora. There's one of the logs right there. And before we actually go out looking for everything, let's go ahead and meet our old friends again.
Hey, what's happening, man?
Yo, you up for a round? Sure, let's play. Play is for kids. This is serious.
Show me your stuff.
True to his origins, Waka fights with a sports ball. He will actively run away from us and swat us away if we continue to get close to him. But when he throws the ball, we can hit it back at him, as you've seen by now, gaining a tech point for our trouble and confusing him. When he's confused, his throws have horrendous accuracy.
Come on!
Whoop, missed time. There we go. Jump. 2 tech points, and then 1 XP for defeating him. Oh, that actually reminds me. I mentioned earlier that we start the game with additional equipment. Here we are. We have a ribbon to reduce all incoming damage that we take of any elemental damage, as well as an XP necklace to give us additional ability points and to give us an additional 30% experience from all sources. So that will actually speed up the process tremendously, as well as make things even safer. Anyway, here we have Selfie.
Ah, the breeze feels great.
What are you up to these days? We never see you. Well, I don't know. Want a duel? Alright, now you're talking.
Okay, don't hold back.
Now, normally she fights with nunchucks. And similarly to Waka, we hit her weapon. We get a tech point, and then we get an additional tech point if her jump rope hits her in the head.
You ready?
Come on. There we have it. Thwack. Wow, missed. She stumbled and I missed. There we go. Selfie is down.
I can't believe I lost.
And then up here, and around here, here's that rope that she asked us to grab, that Kyrie asked us to get. And then here is Tidus. Normally he fights with a sword,
Sora, you feel lucky today?
but here he has a staff. A martial arts staff. Hey Sora, feeling up for a little competition? You asked for it. Alright, let's go.
You're going down.
You'll get tech points if your attack beats his sometimes. I haven't really noticed if there's a way to actually make it happen or if it's just a low chance. I'm not really too sure. But he's an agile, slippery thing that is constantly flipping over the battle, as you've noticed. And we get normally 2 experience for defeating him, but that XP necklace boosted up to 3. And then for defeating all 3 of them, another round, Sora, let's go. Alright, you 3 against me. Okay, you asked for it.
Let's get it.
Yeah! You ready?
Crap. Crap. There we go. Basically, you want to keep moving away from Selfie and Tidus
You ready?
and deal with Waka first. But this battlefield actually does have boundaries, and if I step outside of those boundaries, I'm gonna have to... Yeah, I'm gonna have to lure him away somehow first. But if I step... Oh, there's the tech points for Tidus. But if I step outside of the boundaries, it will actually end the fight prematurely and act as though they have defeated me. A little chaotic here. And because of the drastic... Oh, there we go. Lock us down. And because of the drastically reduced stats that beginner mode offers, if I were on proud mode, I would have already lost a long time ago. Just on account of the number of hits I've already taken. Ow. Alright, Selfie is down. Now for Tidus. Basically, if you're on beginner mode, you take half damage in comparison to standard mode. And then if you're on proud mode, you take double the damage compared to standard mode. So, if I were on proud mode, for instance, I'd be taking 4 times the amount of damage I take on beginner, with the same stats. So, anyway, moving on. For defeating all 3 of them, we get a good chunk of XP, as well as a potion. But anyway, moving right along here. Oops, I forgot something along the way. Oh well, I'll get it in a minute. Here's the other log that Kairi asked us to grab. And him. Did you get everything that we need for the raft? I gave my stuff to Kairi. Hey Sora, how about a quick round? Grab your sword. Okay, you're on. This one decides the champion. Ready or not? Now Riku here is a little bit more in-depth as a combatant. That kick usually does a lot of damage. But otherwise he will hop step, he'll do a little swing, a spin strike, he'll leap around and start talking trash while also blocking. And if I hit him 3 times, he will do his own counterattack. And as you've noticed, he does that kick as a kip-up. When I hit him usually on average about 4 times, but as he gets lower health, he'll do it more frequently.
Come on! Come on!
And just like the battle with the 3 of them, if I fall off of this platform, then I lose. But anyway, you get 5 XP normally for defeating him, 7 with the XP necklace. Sora will actually keep score of how often you beat him as opposed to how often he beats you. And then we get a potion for our trouble. So if you feel the need to, you can use any of those methods for some quick and relatively painless level grinding. Furthermore, even if you do lose to any of them, Riku, Tidus, Selfie, Waka, or all 3 of those Final Fantasy cameos, you are not taken to the game over screen. You're just taken right back in front of them and you can challenge them again right away. So even if you do lose to them, it does not count for undefeated. So if you need the additional confidence, feel free to just level grind on them for a little bit and boost your stats. But anyway, there is the cloth, so let's head on back to Kairi. Thanks, Sora. I found something today, too. Here, it's yours. Thanks for the high potion. Tired? Want to call it a day? Yeah, let's go home. Okay, it is getting late. We'll finish up tomorrow. And now for a couple of additional cutscenes, so enjoy.
So, Kairi's home is out there somewhere, right?
Could be. We'll never know by staying here.
But how far could a raft take us?
Who knows? If we have to, we'll think of something else.
So, suppose you get to another world. What would you do there?
Well, I haven't really thought about it. It's just, I've always wondered why we're here, on this island. If there are any other worlds out there, why did we end up on this one? And suppose there are other worlds. Then ours is just a little piece of something much greater. So, we could have just as easily ended up somewhere else, right?
I don't know.
Exactly. That's why we need to go out there and find out. Just sitting here won't change a thing. It's the same old stuff. So let's go.
You've been thinking a lot lately, haven't you?
Thanks to you. If you hadn't come here, I probably would have never thought of any of this. Kairi, thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh, also, one other thing, and I just thought of this. Oh, first, before I get to that.
Sora! You wanted one, didn't you?
A Palpu fruit?
If two people share one, their destinies become intertwined. They'll remain a part of each other's lives, no matter what. Come on, I know you want to try it.
What are you talking?
Alright, in any event, now that happened, a lot of the fan base and a lot of the player base have very solid preconceived notions about the characters by now, very firmly built-in opinions. However, I wish to challenge any viewers who are returning and who already know all of this. Walk into this with a clean slate, as though you have not started the series before. And if you'll humor me for that. Please, let me know in the comments what you think of the characters as they progress, as they continue on into the series. As we are introduced to them, as their character develops, please do let me know what you think. If you're new to the series, then please do let me know what your first impressions are and how they improve or decline. And of course, if you are new, or rather returning and not new, again, I encourage you, I implore you to start with a clean slate. Because this series is almost 20 years old now. A lot, and I mean a lot, of the opinions that returning and veteran players have can very easily just be nostalgia or your childhood speaking or what other people tell you to think. So I implore you to start this with a clean slate. And please let me know what you think. For better or for worse. I'll shut up now.
This is serious.
Hey there, Donald. Good morning.
We got a problem, Goofy. But don't tell anyone.
Ooh, Queen Minnie?
Not even the tween.
Daisy?
No! It's top secret.
Oh, good morning, ladies.
It was at this moment that Donald knew he messed up. By the way, have you noticed the door when Donald knocked on the big door and like a tiny compartment-sized door opened up? I love that. I don't know why that makes me laugh every time. But anyway, moving right along here, this would actually be a perfect place to call it for the evening. Ending the first day on Destiny Islands and moving in right along into the second. So we'll go right along into the Seaside Shack and save. And that'll bring us to the end of the first episode here, ladies and gentlemen. But like I mentioned earlier, whoops, sorry, wrong button. But like I mentioned earlier, I actually implore you guys to walk into this with clean slates, basically resetting any preconceived notions or lasting opinions for returning and veteran players of the last 20 years of the characters, of the story, of the world selection, and so on. And let me know what you think of the characters. Let me know how you feel about them. as they are, not as you want them to be, but as they are. And especially for any new players as well, let me know what you think of the characters as well. But before I forget, one last thing I did also want to bring up is what Riku made mention of in the last scenes, set of cutscenes about the Palpri fruit. He mentioned that if two people share one, their destinies become intertwined. They'll remain a part of each other's lives no matter what, for eternity. And that actually raises a question that I also wanted to raise with you guys. If you had such an item available, a Palpri fruit, in real life, if you could share it with one single person only, who would it be? Please do let me know in the comment section below. And as usual, I will be sorry. As usual, I do hope you all have a splendid day and that you take care of yourselves. I know that times have been rough on a lot of people lately. It seems to be getting better for some, worse for others, but we just want to spread some positivity. We want to give people a reason to smile and look forward to things once again, so here we are doing exactly that. Like I mentioned at the start of this is actually a project that is near and dear to my heart. It's something I've been wanting to do for almost probably 10 years now. And now that we're finally able to get our YouTube careers going, this is something that I've been wanting to do. And I am looking forward greatly to both helping people learn about the series, helping to spread the word on Kingdom Hearts and its greatness, for lack of a better term, enjoyability, however you want to say it. And I am also just as much looking forward to improving on the games in the series that I am atrociously bad at, and learning even as I teach. So until then, until next episode, you have a great day.